Welcome back to the best show ever created. My name is Orange Juice, and I'm here with my friend
Teabag.
Yeah. What's the crack? What have you been listening to?
What's the name of this show again?
Music Is It Good Though?
Yeah.
I thought I was missing something then. The best show on the internet called Music Is It Good Though, where we review music, usually new music, sometimes older music, and just kind of decide if music's good or not.
Yeah, and sometimes the music we listen to is new and then it suddenly turns out it's not.
Yeah, that's happened. What have you been listening to?
Metallica's new album.
Is it out now?
Yeah, it came out, what day on Sunday? It came out on Friday.
Right.
Yeah, it was, well, I'll reserve that kind of assume that it's going to be...
We'll probably review that next week.
Yeah.
Oh, little teaser there. I've been listening to, again, like a broken record, still listening to a different album every day. Highlight of the last week is Rio by Duran Duran. That was really good.
Was it? I only knew that was a song. I didn't know it was an album.
Yeah. We've also... how many subscribers did we have last time you saw it?
44.
48 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Are those including the people that have requested us listen to some albums?
We've had a few requests as well. I'm loving the interaction. Keep this up. Keep letting us know if you want us to review something. Let us know if you think we've got something completely wrong and you think that we're absolute morons. I want to hear that. Don't particularly want to hear if you think we're right. I just want to hear if you think that we're stupid.
We don't want suck-ups.
No suck-ups around here. This week we're listening to the new album by the band called Boygenius, which is called...
The Record.
Yeah.
Very anonymous.
Yeah. So any preconceptions of Boygenius?
Never heard of them. Can I start? That's probably a rapper. Couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah. Didn't you say you'd heard of one of the people in it?
I've heard of Phoebe Bridgers, because when I first came across that I thought, Phoebe Waller-Bridge? But no, obviously it's not that. I've never heard the music by her. But I've never heard of the other ones. Julian Baker and Lucy Dacre.
Something like that, isn't it?
Completely wrong, but...
Yeah. I had no preconceptions at all because I hadn't heard of any of them. Apparently they're considered a supergroup. It just shows how out of touch with modern music I am because I hadn't heard of anyone that's in it. That says more about me than anything because I only listen to albums like Rio by Duran Duran that came out a long time ago.
In the 80s.
Yeah, so there we go. No preconceptions at all. What did you make of the album then?
Good.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
Yeah.
I wonder, I was driving here listening to it today, and I wonder if you might have the answer to this because I know you love Wikipedia. But are a lot of the songs sung from the perspective of a guy? They're called Boygenius. They've got a song where it's, I can't remember how it goes now, but it's...
Emily, I'm Sorry.
There's Emily, I'm Sorry. There's another one that I was listening to, something about... How I'm Not the Man for You or something like that. There's a line similar to that. I know I've got that wrong, but towards the back end of the album there's some lines like that in there.
Yeah, I think some of them are, and then the last song on the album, something about a poet, I can't remember the name of it, but it says, so it's something like, I don't think you're something just because you didn't punch me in the stomach. Oh, I don't think you're a great guy or something to that effect because you didn't punch me in the stomach.
Right.
So that's sung from the perspective of one, but it's all about relationships and...
Yeah. That's kind of the ongoing theme throughout, isn't it?
Yeah.
And kind of ups and downs in relationships. Like, not only the good, but the bad as well.
Yeah.
Any highlights? What were your favourite songs that were on there?
Like, this album for me was like, this is just where I'm at musically right now. Like, I love this kind of music. I've never heard of this, but it has made me think. I've just downloaded the last 3 albums by each of the people, because when I looked at the Wikipedia of Boygenius, it said like the last 3 albums by each of them were all career highlights. They've not had long careers, but...
Well, they're quite young, aren't they? But they've won like the Mercury Prize and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, so... I
don't know how they hadn't come up on my radar. Like, I know it's not something that I kind of hone in on, but somehow it must have come up somewhere.
Yeah.
But no. Or I'm just oblivious to it.
Like, I love We're Not in Love. I think that's like such a brilliant rumination on love. Satanist and $20. Yeah. Just like the 2 rockier songs on that album. Like, they're really simple, I assume, musically. They sound simple. And
they're simple, but they're unusual. They're probably easy to play, probably not easy to write.
Yeah. I just thought, yeah, this is brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of... Have you ever heard of Breeders?
I feel like I've come across the name, but I couldn't say if I've
It's
heard them.
Kim Deal out of the Pixies.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the same time she was in the Pixies, but the band she then went on to anyway. Just because of like the simple nature of the guitars but it's
There's no shredding.
there's no shredding. I don't think there was any lowlights on this album for me. I just thought it all gelled together perfectly as an album. I loved the first song, like just pure harmonies, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really like that, and it set the tone nicely for me. Like, that's probably, if you hear that first song, you're probably going to get a good indication of if you like the album or not from that. Like, it's probably, well, it is leaning more into the kind of indie side of it.
Oh yeah.
But if you listen to that song and you think this is awful, why would anyone listen to this? Probably don't bother with the rest.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the soundtrack album to Oh Brother Where Art though?
I've heard some songs from it. I've not heard.
So on that, I think it's like Appalachian, not folk, but those harmonies. There's like quite a few songs on there that are
Of
that.
constant sorrow.
Not that.
They kind of, in ways, reminded me a bit of Haim.
Yeah, I
But-
felt that as well. To
Did
be
you?
honest.
Like Haim, but Haim are a lot more poppy and, I guess, rocky in bits. Whereas this is just probably like a term that we've both only come across fairly recently, which is art pop, when we were doing Gorillaz.
You think?
Would this be art pop?
I would say it's hard pop, but one thing that I did come across just literally an hour or so before you turned up is something called bedroom pop.
Bedroom pop.
So it's songs that you like, because they're so introspective and they're quite simple. It's something that someone might write down in a diary and then turn into a song.
Okay.
That's what I got from when I read of bedroom pop.
I've never come across that term before.
Yeah, but it was bedroom pop in relation to one of the Phoebe Bridgers album that came out a couple of years ago.
Right. The highlights from the album for me, I agree with $20. I liked, in general, I tend to like when, that's a prime example actually. I'm starting lots of sentences here and not finishing them, but it's a prime example of when I said like it's fairly simple but hard to write, because it sounds like a simple song, but if you were to count along like 1, 2, 3, 4 to the beat, it's all over the place.
Is it?
It's like a 7-beat song. So it sounds kind of simple and nice and you can bop your head away to it, but if you kind of start dissecting it, it's like this is quite an unusual song. And they're probably, well, in general, stuff like that I tend to really like. I like Biffy Clyro for that because they've got timings all over the place. I like Rush for that. Obviously very different styles of music, but when it's stuff that's a little
They're
bit...
all threesomes though.
Yeah, true. I like trios that don't abide by...
Trios, not threesomes.
That's a different thing. That shows what websites you've been going on, so... $20 was a highlight for me. Emily, I'm Sorry, I really loved. And you're going to need to get the track list up, because that one that I mentioned before, where it's speaking from a man perspective, it was that one. I think it was Not Strong Enough. Yeah.
It's got quite a good hook on it as well, like towards the end where it's like, I'm an angel, never a god or something. That's stuck in my mind. Obviously not that well. I can't remember it word for word, but it did while I was listening to it.
Yeah. So, obviously it's kind of inspired you to go looking up the other like albums by the artists in it. So would you consider this to have staying power?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
Like, this is an album where if this band or any of the artists... Well, let's reserve that actually. I was going to say if any of the artists toured, I'd go and see them. If their albums sound like this, I did just start listening to the Lucid Dacre one. That does kind of sound similar vibe to this. So yeah, I probably would go and see that. Just because I think it'd be a nice
Sit-down gig.
counterpoint,
Yeah.
to what I'd normally go and see.
Yeah, it's very different to the bands that I'm aware of that you've been to see before, like Cardi B. Did you go and see Cardi B?
No, I went and saw Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
Let's leave that hanging there.
Putting a number on it.
10.
Wowee!
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. I was leaning 8.5. First few days when we decided we're listening to this, I had listened to it like 3 days in a row and I was like, I'm loving this. And then I guess I just stopped. And then it was like yesterday evening I was thinking, I'm not listening to it for a few days. Like, I'm quite familiar with it anyway from those times. but I've just not listened to it since then. So for those first few days, I was thinking somewhere between 9 and 10, but it's not really had the staying power as much as I might want it to have had, which is why it's bumped it down a little bit to an 8.5, which would average out, oh, that's some hard maths, 9.25.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think that might be drawing with Gorillas then. I'm sure that got 9.25.
Can't remember.
No.
I know that was
I'm
fine.
sure one of our many fans will remember. And you can let us know, because we're not going to look.
No.
Stick with us anyway, because next week we're going to be reviewing the new Metallica album. Do you know what that's called?
Yeah, 72 Seasons.
I think I did know that, actually. Yeah, we'll let you know what we think. I know he likes them, I don't. So
Could be a massive shock, Will.
yeah, could be a blazing argument.
Yeah.
It could be a full-on fist fight. Who's to say?
I mean, we are very aggressive people.
Obviously. So yeah, thanks for sticking with us, and hello to the new people that's joined us along the way. If you're someone that's not subscribed, click the button and you can join the family of fun.
Yeah, and if you are subscribed, get your friends to do it as well.
Yeah. And your family, and create lots of other accounts in your name and subscribe on those.
What about if you only get watched by orphans and they don't have any family?
Oh, you've put your foot in it there then, haven't you? See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice
No.
day, and I love you.